Hey, family. Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast with Andrea. I'm glad to have you in this space. And you already know we don't do perfect over here, so let's talk. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to remind y'all that for the entire month of May, we're having real conversations around mental health awareness. Not just the pretty side of healing, not just motivational quotes, and not just staying positive. I want us to talk honestly about life, about pressure, about emotional exhaustion, about feeling lost sometimes, and about trying to figure life out while still functioning every day. Because honestly, a lot of people are quietly grieving the life they thought they would have by now. And nobody really talks about that enough. You know what's crazy? I think one of the hardest things emotionally is realizing life doesn't always go the way you plan. Like people really create timelines in their head. By this age, I'll be married. By this age, I'll own a house. By this age, I'll be financially stable. And by this age, I'll feel happier. And then life happens. Unexpected heartbreak, loss, depression, burnout, financial struggles, mental exhaustion, and starting over. And suddenly life looks completely different than what you imagine emotionally. And let's really touch on that right now. I think some people are mentally struggling because they secretly feel behind in life. Everybody online looks successful, everybody's glowing up, everybody's getting engaged, traveling, and living their best life. Meanwhile, some people are just trying to survive emotionally day by day. And that comparison would mentally wear people down. You ever look around one day and realize this is not how I thought my life would look right now? Not even in a dramatic way, just honestly. Like mentally, you thought you would be in a different place emotionally by now. That realization right there can trigger anxiety, sadness, frustration, and emotional exhaustion all at once. And I think people struggle because nobody teaches us how to cope when life changes directions unexpectedly. People teach success, people teach achievement, and people teach hustle, but nobody really teaches people how to emotionally process disappointment. That's why so many people quietly break it down mentally. Let me ask y'all something. How many people are carrying pressure right now because they feel like they should be further in life? A lot more people than you think and a lot more than we realize. Because people don't just compare financially anymore. People compare healing, relationships, bodies, success, motherhood, careers, and everything in between. And that pressure becomes emotionally heavy. I think social media has made people feel like struggling means failing. Like if your life isn't constantly improving publicly, you're doing something wrong. But real life has seasons. Some seasons feel clear, some feel confusing, some feel painful, some feel lonely, and some even feel emotionally exhausted. And all of those seasons still count. You know what I've learned personally? Sometimes life falling apart emotionally is actually life forcing you into new direction you never would have chosen on your own. And in that moment, it hurts because people grieve plans too, not just people. People grieve old versions of themselves, relationships, timelines, expectations, and a life they thought they'll have. And that grief affects mental health deeply. And if you're listening today and life doesn't look the way you thought it would, I just want you to hear this honestly. You are not behind because your journey looks different. You are not failing because life forced you to start over. And you do not have to punish yourself emotionally because your timeline changed. Life changes people. And honestly, I think some people need permission to stop pretending they got everything figured out because a lot of people are smiling publicly while privately trying to rebuild themselves emotionally from scratch. And that takes strength. I think some of the hardest seasons emotionally become the exact seasons that shape people into who they were supposed to become. Not comfortable seasons, hard seasons. Growth rarely feels pretty while it's happening. So if life feels uncertain right now, if mentally you've been overwhelmed because things don't go how you planned, if emotionally you've been grieving the version of life you thought you would have by now, I just want you to remember this today. You are still allowed to rebuild. You are still allowed to begin again and your story is not over just because life changed directions unexpectedly. Because sometimes the hardest part of healing mentally is accepting that life won't always go as planned and learning how to keep living anyway. Let's heal and grow together, and I'll see you in the next episode.